What a weird week. Hugs, long things, explosions. Friday, September 1st, 2023.
Hi, everybody, it's Weird.
This is like crazy being here.
Really weird tales.
Well, I got a great show for you today with some wonderful weird stuff.
Hi, friends. I'm Scott. This is the What a Weird Week show. We talk about weird stuff from the past week's news. If you want to get the stories in more detail, find out more about the podcast or the video stuff, just remember shownotes.page. You can start at shownotes.page. This is Season 4, Episode 49, first published Friday, September 1st, 2023.
10.
All right, kicking off our countdown of weird stuff, number 10 is very long stick of meat makes headlines. From meatandpoultry.com, my new favorite website, Wenzel's Farm. They are a maker of meat snacks, meat snack makers. Meat snacks. Anyway, however I said it, it was awkward. Story of my life. Wenzel's Farm celebrated their 75th anniversary late August by setting the Guinness World Record for longest meat stick. It was 314 feet long. Other things that are 314 feet long: American football field, not including the end zones, Statue of Liberty on her pedestal, and 8 school buses. It was a very long stick of meat.
9.
Number 9, very long sandwich, also makes headlines. A diner in Idaho has broken the Philly cheesesteak world record. How has this happened, Philly? Idaho, Philly. Congratulations to Main Street Diner in Lewiston, Idaho, who made a cheesesteak that was 722 feet long. Important note, they used Monterey Jack instead of Swiss cheese. Still counts, though. They chopped it up into 6-inch portions, and they sold those portions for charity. Pretty nice. Well done. The ball is in your court now, Philly. This is What a Weird Week. 10 weird things every week. New episodes on Fridays.
8.
Number 8, very fast remote-controlled car breaks record and also explodes. A guy from Britain named James set a world speed record by operating a remote-controlled or radio-controlled car that had a jet engine. It reached a speed of 94 miles per hour, 94 and something. That was on the first attempt after he got the remote control car speed record. So the first attempt, boom, you're in the record books. Well, James kept going because James knew he could get more out of that car. Second try, a piece fell off the car, so that attempt was disqualified. Third try, the car hit 141 miles per hour, but the wind blew the car off course, and that's when it exploded. Ooh, what a roller coaster ride. You set the world record, but also put a lot of time and effort, a lot of money into that jet car, and jet car go boom. We have a link to the video and more details on the story. Click the show notes or go shownotes.page.
7.
Headline from the Tri-City Herald. Almost a perfect headline, you guys. Wine tanker gets a little tipsy. 6,000 gallons down the drain after crash near Richland. That headline by Cameron Probert, and that is some nice headline work, Cam. This happened in Washington State. It appears as though the tanker truck had trouble at a roundabout and flipped over. Maybe don't call them a roundabout where you're at, traffic circle, you know what I mean? So it flipped over, 6,000 gallons of red wine spilled into the street and down the storm drain. According to the story, the driver of the truck suffered minor injuries. It appears as though the driver will be okay. The wine will not be recovered, though, you guys. And I got wondering how much money that would be worth. I found a website that averages a bottle of wine for every state. What's the average price of a bottle of wine? And in Washington State, now this is a couple years ago, but $14 average bottle of wine. See, I'm on the wagon. I don't know this stuff. So, we're looking at $80-some thousand worth of red wine down the drain, maybe a bit more now, inflation. It's a couple of things I didn't think about, maybe because I'm on the wagon. I don't drink. But I didn't know red wine was in tanker truck. You see a tanker truck in traffic, my first thought isn't, ooh, I wonder if that's wine in there. But of course, it has to be sometimes how they get the wine from one place to the other. Of course, if it's boxed wine, it'd be in a box truck. Hey, what? What? Counting down the 10 weirdest news items of the week, this is What a Weird Week.
6.
At number 6 on our countdown, we just came through the worst time for people taking a sick day. Did you notice where you work? A company called Flamingo, their specialty is helping other companies manage absenteeism. They crunched the numbers, and Flamingo says August 24th is the most common sick day in the USA. August 24th even beat out the day after the Super Bowl. The number one reason people give for staying home on August 24th, stomach bug. Somebody at my office was out on August 24th. I had to think back. We just have a small office, so it was easy for me to remember. But August 24th, you guys, story checks out. I'm interested to learn why August 24th, the follow-up story. There has to be a follow-up story coming, right? Why August 24th? Is it because back to school, too stressful? Is it because I need more summer? I can't believe summer's almost over. I'm taking a day. I want the follow-up story. To be continued.
5.
Number 5, Swedish man eats something gross very quickly. The Disgusting Food Museum in Sweden, an actual place, hosted a fermented herring eating competition. It is a canned fish that is so smelly it makes people vomitatious. Just opening the can, you'll see people on social media and all they're trying to do is open a can of this stuff without vomiting. Sorry, trigger warning, vomiting. It's a lot of vomit talk here coming at you. Throwing up like crazy, you guys. Too far? A 71-year-old Swede, Mr. Norlin, got the world record for most fermented herring eaten in 1 minute. It was less than a pound. You don't usually hear of something when you're eating the most of something in a minute. The hot dog competition, the boiled eggs, all that. It's way more food. But less than a pound is the world record. This stuff is so gross that the world record is only 392 grams. That's less than 2 full cans. But congratulations, Mr. Norlin. Disgusting Food Museum link. It sounds like an interesting place, right? The link is in the show notes, or go shownotes.page. Counting down the 10 weirdest news stories of the week from 10 to 1. This is What a Weird Week.
4.
At number 4 this week in the countdown, news crew robbed while covering robbery story. A reporter and camera person from Univision Chicago were covering other robberies around 5 a.m. in this neighborhood in Chicago the other day, and they were robbed at gunpoint. Masked robbers stole a news camera. They took the news camera and some other stuff. It's not funny. I mean, I don't want to make light of it. It's never funny to get robbed at gunpoint. I've wondered before, like you flip on the news and there's a reporter talking about this crime-infested neighborhood and they're there and it's dark and you're like, well, wait, there's crime there. Get out of there. I don't know why. It's like when they send the weather person out to tell you it's raining and they have to have the weather person saying it's raining, holding an umbrella in the rain. I trust the weather person to tell me it's raining. I don't have to see them outside where it's raining. Same thing with crime. If you're going to tell me which neighborhood to avoid because it's currently crime-infested, I trust you. You don't have to go to there. Couldn't they have let the reporter just stay in the van, though? Lock the doors, just slow roll through the crime-infested neighborhood?
3,
Number 3 story this week is a nope from me. We gotta cover it, but I am very squeamish, you guys. I realized the story of the lady in Australia who had the brain surgery to remove what ended up being a live worm from her brain. I realize that's weird news, and it's one of the top stories of the week, and it got covered by everyone. And if you're doing a podcast about weird news, you got to throw it in there. But I can't even. Like, it's too much for me. Too much. I'll leave the link in the show notes, and I'll just say, please remember to always wash your food. Thoroughly wash your food, especially if you're foraging or eating food from the wild. Wash your food. Yikes. You're listening to What a Weird Week. It's the 10 weirdest news stories of the week.
2,
Our number 2 story this week, gator in Jersey. Again. Now, I realize having said it out loud, it sounds like the gator, a playful gator, is wearing some sort of sports jersey. But no, a gator in New Jersey. Authorities in New Jersey closed a public park earlier this week because of a gator on the loose. Victor Crowell Park, it has a duck pond, in Middlesex, New Jersey, closed to the public as police search for a gator described as 3 to 4 feet long. The quote from ABC7, this is interesting, you guys. This is what they're doing. Saturday night, police officers were able to locate the alligator themselves. An officer attempted to neutralize it by discharging their firearm at a close proximity. That sounds like there was some excitement. It appears as though the gator went underwater and disappeared after all that. A shout out to the New Jersey Department of Fish and Wildlife. They're seeking info on the gator's whereabouts. You can call the Gator hotline at 877-WARN-DEP. Warn DEP. In case you missed it, it is not legal to have a pet gator in New Jersey. That's against the law. It's not the first time we've had a story like this. Honorable mention. Mystery ducks, giant rubber ducks, have been showing up in Belfast Harbor, Maine. This started in the summer of 2021. They are back this summer, and this year there's 3 of them. One has the word joy on it, one says greater joy, and one says Philip. No, I'm just kidding. It says greatest joy. There's no word on why they showed up or who put them there, and the ducks aren't blocking harbor traffic, so everybody seems content to just leave them there. It's almost like a tourist attraction or something. Somebody knows something about it. Everybody's being tight-lipped. As near as I can tell, this story, this mystery, somebody knows what's going on. Anyway, delightful, ginormous rubber ducks in this harbor in Maine. What a weird week. 10 weird news items of the week. Honorable mention number 2. We have a second honorable mention this week. We had last week a special episode, so we're getting caught up on a couple of stories, and this was a big story all over the place. Loch Ness Monster mystery solved. They found her, you guys. No, I'm just kidding. But they did organize an enormous search of Loch Ness. Around 200 volunteers on the shore took part in an organized search for clues. No luck from the shore, folks, but some searchers on a boat heard what they call some sort of unidentified gloops. There were 4 gloops. Fantastic. Let's get that. Let's analyze it. Let's figure out what the heck is going on in Loch Ness. Unfortunately, the recorder wasn't plugged in. So, to be continued.
1,
Okay, here's our number 1 story of all the weird news this week. And on a happy one, the hugging world record attempt. Another unofficial world record for David Rush. He has hundreds of world records. He's the fellow who does it to promote STEM and make the world a better place. This time, He was unleashing hug power. David and another world record holder named Josh Horton hugged 153 times in a minute. That's a lot of hugs in a short amount of time. Good for you guys. Hugging it out. They say, I just read an article how we need so many hugs a day for good emotional health. You know, I'm a non-toucher. I'm still working my way towards air high fives, maybe an air hug or a nod. I'm really at the nod phase. He's hugging someone 153 times in a minute. I'm working up the courage to nod at somebody. But, you know, baby steps. We'll stop there, but I appreciate you are listening to the What a Weird Week show. You can get us as a podcast if you go to shownotes.page. You can also stream us on Funhouse Radio every weekend, streaming on Funhouse Radio. Just ask your smart speaker to play the radio station, Funhouse Radio. Please tell your friends and your enemies to like and subscribe, and people you're impartial to. We don't often mention them, but if you're impartial to someone, perhaps give them a nod and then say, hey, have you heard about this show? What a weird week. Now there's an icebreaker.